Welcome back to Avalon and Ninth. Please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to my channel for another edition of 52 Weeks of Fandom. We are in week 9, and this week it is not a double spread. So I definitely had my act together, but it is a little bit of a shorter video. So, kit is from Cricut Paper Co. Of course, I hear my dogs barking because somebody let them out. So if you hear any beeps in the background, it's just my back door opening and the kids letting the dogs in because they're barking at the dogs next door. Anyways, back to planner stickers. Kit is from Cricut Paper Co. This came out like a long time ago. I don't even remember when it came out. But I went ahead and I grabbed it. I thought it was really, really cute artwork and everything. However, I am not a fan of her sticker paper. I get that it's the removable vinyl stuff, which a lot of people like, but I do not like writing on these stickers. And the one thing, I noticed is that some of the full boxes were cut short, not in height, but in width. So I don't know if that's something that happens over time where it kind of shrinks upon itself or what. But I did, it kind of threw me off a couple of times. However, I have bought a few kits from Cricut Paper Co. And I do love the artwork that she does. So, will I buy another kit from her? I don't know. We'll see. Since I didn't really have to write on this kit at all, it made it a lot more enjoyable. So maybe for future projects, I will buy more kits, because if I'm just layering script stickers and character stickers on top of other stickers, then I can't really be mad at the sticker paper because I'm not writing on it, right? All right, glad you agree with me. So but like I said, I will probably buy another kit as long as the artwork speaks to me. And of course, this artwork spoke to me for terms of a fandom. I'd already wanted to do a year of fandom for a very long time. So a lot of the kits that I have in my fandom collection are kits that are a couple years old. So I did do something a little bit differently this week. And it was kind of based off of last week's video, where I did end up doing a little bit of research, extra research on a couple of the things, and because it got me curious. And so I'm not going to put extra things in this planner that don't make it into other planners. I'm really going to kind of just focus on the topic at hand for what this is, which is this day in history. And I'm going to put down whether I did any research. Obviously, if I didn't do any research, it's going to say none, and we'll do a little spoiler alert. I only did one extra research on this week. So the rest of the days will say my research and then none. Oops. That's just kind of, that's how it goes. That is really just how it goes. So, but I figured that would be kind of nice to just have those extra little tidbits in terms of, what I knew. And if I, have something, if I find an entry that I know something about, that not necessarily will I do research, I will give extra little information about it. 'Cause why not? I mean, this is all fascinating stuff. So, see, I can't tell whether the box was cut crooked on this one or whether I laid the washi down incorrectly. And I think the washi is laid down correctly, but I can't tell because it's just all just weird in that area. So let's just line it up with the other line and just be good to go. So, but anyways, this was a fascinating week in terms of history events, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But I am just kind of laying down the base of all of this. Definitely not staggering things and whatnot. So one of the things that I have been, in doing these weeks is not really liking to put the TDIH underneath the little coffee emoji. And so I've also been wanting to incorporate more of the stickers from the kits. So I decided, because she had all of these half boxes and a lot of them were patterned, that I was just going to go ahead and put all of them up at the top, so that I could then layer in a little newsy coffee monsters coat emoji and then my script that says TDIH. And I know some people have asked me, like they've reached out, they're like, what does that say? I can't reach it. It just says TDIH, and you'll see when I start placing it down, and it just stands for this day in history. That's all it stands for. Nothing fancy, like I don't have anything crazy, but I figured TDIH was far easier to put into a script sticker than this day in history. Although, if I did do this day in history, it would take up far more room, and then I wouldn't have to try and fill in space. But I don't think I necessarily want to do that. I think I'll go the route of doing some extra research. So that's my goal, is to have at least 1 to 2 extras every week where I did some extra research and give y'all just a little bit of knowledge, I guess. And if you don't like it, that's fine. I'm okay with it. This is definitely a different project, and something that will probably evolve. Maybe I will evolve it from putting down the little tidbit for history and whether I did research, and then if I still have room, maybe I'll put something extra in it. I don't know. We'll see. I know people have said to like put, like what if you put the day, like something that happened that day. And I won't even really do that one, because everything, when you pull up news and stuff, is just so politically charged. And so it's been very, very difficult just going to news sites and looking and having to really wade through and dig and find something that isn't political in nature. However, I do have some caveats to that, and I may do that in the future, because there are obviously like science websites that I go to, where discoveries and stuff that are obviously not politically charged, and stuff. But I don't know if I just want to keep it consistently science based, if that makes sense. Hence my reason for not doing any of that right now, because I haven't figured out what direction I want to go. So on Monday, 1864, Rebecca Lee was the first black woman awarded a medical degree. So there was somebody else that was actually touted as the first black woman to have received a medical degree. And then somebody discovered Rebecca Lee, and it turned out she was actually the first, which was quite interesting. I was like, oh, you know what? I want to go back and I'm going to look up a little bit about this. I want to get just a little bit more information. So turns out not much is known about her. A lot is like she wasn't out there for fame and fortune type stuff. So she received a medical degree and she worked during the Civil War. Things were harder in the South, but things were harder in the South. Sorry, I hear some kids outside squealing. Anyways, it was harder in the South, but post-Civil War, it was even more hard, in terms of everything like medical stuff going on. And so she ended up moving back north, and she wrote a couple of books, and that's how we kind of know some of her stuff going on. There was a lot more to it, but I don't want to like make it all just about like everything that I found. But I did find it interesting that, one, it was very hard to like find information on her, but she does have a few books published, which is how she was discovered to have then become the first woman awarded a medical degree. So anyways, that was my little digging into history. So on Tuesday in 1949, Captain James Gallagher completed the first non-stop around the world flight. He completed the 23,452-mile journey in 94 hours and 1 minute. Now, I didn't do any further research onto this, but it got me thinking about like Amelia Earhart. What was her? Did she ever? I don't know. I know some things, but I don't know like everything. Like it's information. You remember some things and you like dump a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, what was her journey? Was she one that was going to be doing an around the world flight when she went missing? I believe so. I didn't do any more research on this. I really wish I would have gone back into it, because did he do it before her, or did he do it after her? That's what I wanted to know there. So shame on me for not doing the extra research. I didn't think about it until I was actually writing this stuff down. On Wednesday the 3rd, 1879, Belva Ann Bennett Lockwood became the first woman lawyer to be admitted to appear before the Supreme Court. I just found that absolutely fascinating. I mean, obviously we know the struggles of what it became, of just even getting the right to vote for women. And was it last week or the week before how I talked about how in Utah they gave women the right to vote, or was it, in 1870 they gave women the right to vote, but then it was revoked in 1887. Like, really? So here I'm like, it's taken this 1879. I mean, you look at that, and that's what, 150 years, right? Going on 150 years that now just a woman has been, admitted to appear before the Supreme Court. As I do these, I look back and I'm like, man, I have so many questions. Why? What was she admitted for? I really need to do a better job on this. So I didn't do any more research, but this has definitely been a week where it's posed a lot of questions. So I have new things coming up for next week so that I can answer my own questions. So Thursday, the 4th, 1917, Jeannette Rankin took her seat as the first woman elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. I wonder how much of that helped, like, the women's suffrage movement, because that was, right before 1920. She obviously didn't have the right to vote, but here she was elected into the U.S. House of Representatives. So how much of that actually helped the women's suffrage movement? See, once again, I have all my questions, and I didn't do any research to answer my own questions because those questions didn't come up until I was writing these things down. So failure on my part. This next one, I had already known about this one, just because I love little tidbits about World War II and how the Nazis came to be in power, and things that they did, and I listened to people who lived over in Poland and currently what they're going on, and read things from excerpts. Like, it's just fascinating to me. So 1933, in the last free elections in Germany until after World War II, the Nazi Party received 44% of the vote. So, I mean, this was obviously well in play before World War II started. And I mean, you can just start to see how things just start to build up. So, like I said, I'm going to answer some of my own questions this next week because I have them. So 1981, Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in America, retires and is replaced by Dan Rather. So I don't really have any thoughts on this one. I feel that journalism has gone downhill. I read articles and they do a piss poor job at answering any of the questions that anybody should have, which tells me that it's not a good article to begin with. And I mean, if you disagree with me on that, that's completely fine. But if I leave an article and I have more questions than what I went into it with, we have a problem, because that means you didn't even answer the first basic question for me. So I don't have any thoughts on this one. I just thought it was just an interesting tidbit that he was referred to as the most trusted man in America, and everything. I do remember seeing clips of him and like his really deep voice, and like he's just a very iconic, journalist person. Um, journalist person, is that even like, what is it? A journalist? Yes, a journalist. So, anyways, that was on TV, and I remember seeing clips and him talking through some of the things that would happen in America and give information. So, on Sunday, 1965, peaceful civil rights demonstrators marching from Selma, Alabama, are attacked by police. This becomes known as Bloody Sunday. This one actually sparked some conversation with my oldest son and I, which was kind of interesting, because he wonders, sometimes what I do, and, sometimes I find little tidbits and I see that. But that's what I have for you, and next week I will answer some better questions. Until then, enjoy, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.